Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Bros, and today we're going to be talking about the book of Esther in the Bible. Now, before I go into the summary analysis of this biblical book, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and/or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. Now, the book of Esther begins with this huge party, this huge celebration, where King Xerxes he's showing everybody his money, his power. He tells his servants to fill the cups of all of his invited guests. He wants them to drink, and he tells whatever people want to drink. Don't argue, don't do anything. Just do whatever they say. Just there's no expense that's too great. And so everybody's having a great time. Everybody's drinking. And then the king says, I want my wife. She's very beautiful. She's very wonderful. I want her to come. I want everybody to see her in all of her beauty. But she says no. And King Xerxes is very angry because he's the king. His counselors, his advisors, tell him that this is really bad. Take the crown away from her head, and send out a law that every man should rule his own house. Because if every woman follows after Queen Vashti, this could be very bad for the kingdom. And this is done. The King Xerxes, he takes the crown away from Vashti, and they start looking for a new wife for King Xerxes. And all women from every corner of the kingdom, young virgin women from every corner of the kingdom, they come forward. They for several months they get special treatments. Cosmetic treatments, skin treatments, beauty treatments, and then after being taken care of very well, so that they're not just their natural beauty, but the greatest beauty that they have could be shown. King Xerxes, he looks at them, and he selects Esther, and he was attracted to her, so he takes Esther. Now Esther is Jewish. Her background is Jewish. Her family is from Israel, and her name Esther was given to her to hide her background, to hide her identity. Her true name is Hadassah. It was changed to Esther to hide her identity, and that becomes very important later. What happens next is that we know that Mordecai, well, this is Esther's background. Mordecai is Esther's cousin or older cousin. We learned that Esther's parents died when she was young, and Mordecai takes her in and raises her as if she's like his daughter. So that's Esther's life. That's her background, and we'll see why all this is important. We also were introduced to Haman. Haman is this guy who is in the political arena of Persia. He's looking for power. He's looking for upward mobility. He's looking for people to honor him, see him, and when the king honors him, and he sees, he wants everybody to bow down to him, kneel and worship him. Mordecai doesn't do it because Jewish people, or people of God, you only kneel before the one true God, which is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Mordecai, he doesn't do it. This angers Haman, and he wants to kill Mordecai, not just to kill him, but to kill all of his people, his background, erase the memory of Mordecai from the face of the earth. And God does not let that happen. So what Haman does is he goes to the king. He's like, there's a group of people in the kingdom. They don't follow your laws. They don't follow your decrees. They don't follow anything that you're saying. We need to put an end to them. We need to destroy them. And he even offers the king money. He's like, I'm going to give some money so that we can get this done. And the king's like, you know what? I don't even want the money. Do as you wish. Kill them, destroy them, steal, or wipe them from the face of the earth. And of course, we know God's not going to let that happen. And so the story goes on. The law goes out on swift horses. for the Jewish people. This day is coming where anybody in the whole kingdom of Persia can destroy them, steal from them, pretty much kill them, men, women, children, whatever. Take all their stuff, their property, their money. It doesn't matter. Just kill them, wipe them from the face of the earth. And this is horrific. They're crying. The Jewish people are crying. They're wailing. And Mordecai, warns Esther. He gets a word to Esther. He's like, listen, you need to do something about this. You need to beg to the king because don't think that you're safe. Because if this goes out, we all die. You're going to be on the chopping block too. So you need to do something. You need to speak to your husband, to speak to the king, and save us. And so Esther, this is a very tough time. But she says, we're gonna do 3 days of fasting. Everybody go and fast for 3 days, no food nor water. So that I can, after the fasting, after going to God, after asking God for help, then I'll go to King Xerxes and ask for him to save us, to put an end to this. And so they fast. 3 days are over. Queen Esther goes into the courtyard, and this is a special place that if the king doesn't give you, his scepter, doesn't extend his scepter to you, that you're going to die. So the king, he sees Esther coming. She found favor in his eyes. He extends the scepter, and she doesn't die. And she doesn't die. And so after she's given the golden scepter. And the king's like, what do you want? Speak. And she pretty much says, I want to invite you and Haman to this banquet. And he's like, of course, yeah, I'll come to this banquet that you're gonna hold for me and Haman. That's definitely fine. So that's planned. Haman is pretty much extremely happy. He's like, oh man, I'm so honored. The king, the queen, they're holding this special feast just for them and myself. He tells his wife, he tells his sons, he tells his people. He's like, man, look at the position that I've been raised, and Haman's just living it up. But still, Mordecai, won't bow down to him, so he still wants to kill Mordecai and all of his people. But he has a gallows built. He really wanted to destroy Mordecai because he has a gallows built. He wants to hang Mordecai. He just absolutely hates him. And so he's gonna go. So when he's planning, or his advisors, or Haman's advisors advise him to go ask the king to give him permission to hang Mordecai. The king, there's one night the king can't sleep. The night before Haman goes in to ask him about killing Mordecai, the king can't sleep that night. Which, it's very fascinating how God works. The king can't sleep, and the king has his servants, his royal people come in with his book and just read from his the archives of the history, and in the book he found that Mordecai saved his life because there was a situation where 2 guards were planning to kill the king, and Mordecai steps in and saves the king's life. And nobody ever honored Mordecai for doing this. And Mordecai's like, wow, man, we never did anything for that guy. We never did something for that guy who saved my life. And when Haman was coming in to ask to kill Mordecai, God's like, no, well, of course God steps in here, and God's like, of course, no, you're not going to kill Mordecai because the king wants Mordecai to be honored today. And so Mordecai is honored, and Haman is like, he's responsible to make sure that everybody knows that this is how the king honors those who he favors and those he wants to honor. And Haman is very upset because every time he tries to kill Mordecai, get rid of this pest in his eyes, God's like, nope, this is not going to happen. God even goes so far as to making King Xerxes not sleep well. just just so that he could discover of this man who saved them, and he never really did anything for this man, and just to stop Haman from going in to kill Mordecai. God will stop people from getting that good night of sleep just to rescue you. So that is amazing. And so the story goes on from there, and Haman's like very upset. He's just extremely upset. He thought everything was going well for him. He thought the queen was in his side. He's having banquets, and there's a second banquet. After the first one, and after all these things take place, and at this banquet, Queen Esther, finally says what she wanted to say. She's like, Haman has declared for all the Jewish people to die. He has asked, the king to pretty much annihilate all of the Jewish people. And Esther's like, I'm Jewish. If this happens, I'm going to die also. And the king is upset. The king is enraged, and he's like, you're gonna die. And Haman is shocked. I mean, his face is flushed, and he's like begging Esther for forgiveness. And he falls on Esther's couch, or the chair that she's sitting on, and just pretty much threw himself at her, to beg for his life. And the king's like, well, what is he doing? Is he going to molest the queen right in front of my face now too? And the king's like, listen, well, hang Haman. And the gallows that Haman had built to hang Mordecai, that's the gallows that's used to hang him. And pretty much, the purge, it was a purge. It was a whole purge, because Haman told the king, these people don't listen to you. These people don't listen to your laws and decrees and orders. They're doing whatever they want. I want to destroy them. I offer money to do this. And at first the king was like, do as you wish. Whatever you want to do to them. And I don't even want your money. Just destroy them. And now the king didn't know that Esther was Jewish. He didn't know that Mordecai had saved them, and he was Jewish. What he got from Haman's account is just, you had these lawless people that are doing whatever and not listening to the king. And so he's like, of course, destroy them. But now, now the whole story is different. But originally, Haman had the king's ring, his insignia, and he pretty much told the people of Persia, or the people of the whole kingdom, to pretty much go out and purge, the Jewish people. Kill the men, kill the women, kill the children, plunder their wealth, take their wealth. Don't think twice about it. Take all of it. Kill them, treat them as you see fit, do as you see fit. So it's a literal purge of the Jewish people. Haman wanted to wipe them, kill them, destroy them, bloodshed. Wipe them. There's no protection. No protection whatsoever. And so, Esther steps in. Esther prays. Esther is used in this situation, or is raised to a level in this situation, to have God uses her to save the people, to save the Jewish people. And then what happens next is, of course, Haman is killed. Then his 10 sons are killed. His house is given to Esther. Mordecai is put second in command in all of the King Xerxes' kingdom, and the Jewish people. A new decree was sent out quickly for the Jewish people to defend themselves, and for them to go against the people that were trying to destroy them. and they didn't touch any of the plunder, any of the money, any of the wealth. But they fought for their lives and they saved their own lives. And Mordecai is put in second in command in all of Persia, which is like very significant in the Bible. We see Joseph put second in command. We see Mordecai put second in command in Persia. We see Joseph put second in command and in Egypt. So wherever the Jewish people go, we see God raise them up. We see God do wonderful and amazing things with them because they were God's people. And we see in the Bible how later God will bring Jesus Christ into the world through the Jewish people. And so when you are God's, or when you belong to God, God will do anything to protect you and keep you. He will even stop a king from getting a good night's rest to remember what this one Jewish man did for the king, which that's wow, that for me, that is like the greatest part of this story, because like this man is like, this King Xerxes, he's like trying to get some sleep, and he's like, man, I can't sleep, just bring in the big book of my history, or the chronicles, and let me hear of what's going on, what happened in the past. And there he was, there's Mordecai saving his life. He's like, oh man, I never did anything for that guy for saving my life. So that's quite significant. And the story ends with, of course, Mordecai being put in second in command, and Esther being a well-established queen. So we see, how God uses a woman and uses a daughter to do such great things, to literally save an entire, population of Jewish people. And also how God raises Mordecai to be second in command in the whole kingdom of Persia. And King Xerxes trusts him with his life, because Mordecai has proven that he already saved the king's life. Haman never did that. So that's quite significant. So Esther was an orphan. She had nobody. She was raised by her cousin, her older cousin. She is, she basically, without God, she did not have a future, but she is brought to be this queen. And from being a queen, she is used, or put in a position by God for her to save her people. And through her, Mordecai is also brought up. So it's amazing how God uses this one woman to do great things. Mary, mother of Jesus, or Mary, the woman that God chose to bring Jesus into the world, is another example of how God used the woman to do great things. So God works through all people. He does whatever he wants. He can use women, men, children, however he wants. He is the King of Kings. He does what he wants, when he wants. And in this book, we see, in the book of Esther, we see a people saved from being purged, from being destroyed, from being blotted out from the face of the earth. And it's very scary how Haman wanted to kill, steal, and destroy everything from the Jewish people. Because the specific law was like, kill them, annihilate them. Kill them, annihilate them. So that's like, leave no remembrance, leave no living life. Kill them, annihilate them, and plunder. So steal all their wealth, all their fortune, kill them all, and annihilate them. Man, that is very thorough destruction. And that's also the plan of Satan. That's how he works. So Haman was not on the good side here. His heart was not in the right place. But Esther was hidden for a reason. Hadassah, that's Esther's Jewish name, was changed to Esther. Esther was this hidden woman in the king's palace for God to do great things. And we see that in the Bible in several places. I mean, Moses was a man who was also Jewish, and he was raised in the king's household, and the king wanted all Jewish people to die, or all the kids in that age group to die, and the one that he really wanted to kill, well, he lived in his house. That that is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. The Bible has these stories of where the enemy will look to destroy, where the enemy will look to annihilate. That's never where God hides his people. A lot of times, the people who are doing the killing, who they're trying to kill, they're actually fattening. That person is actually eating at their table. That person is living in their house. That person is like right next to them, probably sleeping in the next room over. That person is usually right next to them, but they can't see it because when God's hand is stretched out, who can turn it back? When God has purposed, who can thwart him? So that's the deep purpose. That's the deep reality that's within the book of Esther. Of when the enemy stands up against God's people, God always answer. And also he's also quite clever. I mean, well, he is God, so that's also very quite clever because the way that he thwarts Haman here is delicious. I mean, it is perfectly perfect. I mean, the queen that you think is like not your enemy, this is the queen that you're trying to destroy, and she's the queen. So you probably don't want to destroy the queen because the king loves the queen, and the queen is Jewish. So probably don't do that. So yeah. But that's all I had to say about the story of Esther. Again, the Bible, every book is so layered. There's so many different ways to look at it. But that's the summary. Those are a few thoughts I have on it. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment. And I'll see you guys in the next video.